We're going to take a look and a listen to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She's going to be talking about this infrastructure bill and how she would vote as far as this bipartisan bill that we're hearing about. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please hit the like button. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell notification. That way you'll get notified anytime we put out a video. Okay, so I know you're probably asking, why are we talking about this infrastructure bill? Why are we talking about the roads, bridges, and broadband? What about stimulus checks? Well, at the current time, stimulus checks are not on the table. Okay, and I want to keep reminding you of that because I still have people in the comments telling me, no, but so-and-so is saying this. And on this YouTube channel, they're saying stimulus checks are coming in July and this and this and that. The reality is stimulus checks are not on the table. Okay, now, once we get past this first infrastructure bill, the roads, bridges, and broadband, then we can look at the American Families Plan. In the American Families Plan, we might start hearing more about possible stimulus. It might not be stimulus checks, but it might be possible stimulus for the American people. But we have to get there first, and we are not there. So there's no reason to talk about stimulus checks if there are no stimulus checks on the horizon. Okay, you do have politicians right now that support stimulus checks, but they're not enough of them. We don't have enough Congress people right now that support stimulus checks in order for this to be something that's implemented anytime soon. Okay, so our target is the American Families Plan. So once we get past this first infrastructure bill, when we start looking at the American Families Plan, that's when we're really going to have to see what these politicians are talking about when it comes to more stimulus for the American people. So that's where we are right now. So let's go ahead and take a look and a listen to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Here we go.
Well, joining me now to discuss that is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat from New York. Thank you so much, Congresswoman, for joining me. So a group of 5 Republican, 5 Democratic senators is proposing $1.2 trillion in an infrastructure compromise deal. $600 billion of that is new spending, they say, no tax hikes to pay for it. Would you vote yes or no on that package if it comes before you in the House?
You know, I think from what we've seen so far, and particularly the lack of climate action as well, I think adding to the severe lowering of our scope and scale and what we're seeking to do on ambition, I doubt it, frankly, in the current state of that proposal. And I think one of the things that's really important to communicate is that this isn't just 1.7 trillion. This is about an overall investment spread out over anywhere between 8 to 10 years, which is a very, very low amount of money. It's not going to create the millions of union jobs that we need in this country, particularly to recover from the pandemic. And it's not going to get us closer to meeting our climate goals, which are crucially important at this point in time.
As you well know, Democrats have 3 votes to spare in the House. So if the White House comes to you, if Democratic leaders come to you and say, this is the best you're going to get right now, would you and fellow progressives still say no to this?
Well, I think the thing is that this isn't the best that we can get. And I do think that we need to talk about the elephant in the room, which is Senate Democrats, which are blocking crucial items in a Democratic agenda for for reasons that I don't think hold a lot of water. And for folks saying, okay, you know, where are you going to get these 50 votes? I think we really need to start asking some of these Democratic senators where they plan on getting 60 votes. These 10 Republican senators, that there's a theory that we're going to get support for that out there, I think is a claim that doesn't really hold water, particularly when we can't even get 10 senators to support a January 6th commission.
Yeah, no, I hear you
so
generally
I think that the argument that we...
But on this particular bill, they have 5. And, you know, my understanding is that it is possible, if everything comes together, they could get 10. So just on infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to just listening to what they're talking about here. So you have 5 Senate Republicans that are for this new bipartisan infrastructure bill, but you need 10, so you need 5 more. But if you're really looking at it, you have 2 Democrats that they think might block this, right? So 2 Democrats might block President Biden's infrastructure bill. We're talking about Senator Sinema and Senator Manchin. So it's easier to get those 2 than it is to get 5 more and 5 Republican senators on top of that to vote for this infrastructure bill. So I think that's what AOC is trying to say. Look, we can go with trying to talk to the Democrats who are blocking. We can focus on them, but we don't even know at this point with this infrastructure bill they're talking about now, we don't even know if we have the support from Republicans. We don't know if we have those 10 Republican senators that will be needed to move forward.
Yeah, well, I think then the question that we have to make is that there's a fork in the road, which is, do we settle for much less and an infrastructure package that has been largely designed by Republicans in order to get 60 votes, or can we really transform this country, create millions of union jobs, revamp our power grid, get people's bridges fixed and schools rebuilt with 51 or 50 Democratic votes? And I think the argument that we need to make here is that it's worth going it alone if we can do more for working people in this country. You know, with 50 votes, we have the potential to lower the age of Medicare eligibility so that more people can be covered and guaranteed to their right to health care, as opposed to, 60 votes where we do very, very little, and the scope of that is defined by a Republican minority that has not been elected to lead.
Okay, so that was AOC, and I have to say, and I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican, if you were on either side, if you were trying to get something through, wouldn't you want to do the most that you can do and not try to do this negotiating where you're watering down whatever the bill is that you're trying to get through? You should be trying to go big. You have the White House. The Democrats have the White House. The Democrats have the Senate, and the Democrats have the House. Use that and get the things that you want done, because you're not going to have this opportunity for very long. And in most situations, we see a shift. And so in 2022, we'll probably see a shift where either the Senate's going to go back to Republicans or the House is going to go back to Republicans. We know that that's going to happen, and then you'll have gridlock at that point, and nothing will get done. So you have this opportunity, move forward with it. There shouldn't be a situation where you're trying to negotiate with the other side. The people have spoken, and they said, look, we want the Democrats to run things right now, and we're going to give them that power. And we saw that in Georgia. Georgia should not have gone to the Democrats. It should have probably been split, if that. You had two incumbent Republican senators, and they were both defeated. That's very rare. So that's the people saying, look, this is important to us that you move forward and you get this agenda through. So at this point, I think negotiating is not going to be beneficial. It's not going to be beneficial to the Democrats, and it's definitely not going to be beneficial to the American people, because you're going to water it down, because you have the other side trying to pull back and say, no, we don't want to spend all this money on that. We want to take money from here. We want to have user fees and different taxes and all this stuff. And it's just not going to work. If anything, it's going to work against the Democrats. It's going to work against the people. And you're going to have some Republicans that want that to happen because they want to get back in power. And that's the way they do it. So I want to know what you guys think about this. So let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.